Today we're looking at Demons of the
On the new carpet.
This is why only the professionals do this.
Okay. Awkward silence, and for once it's not my fault.
Hello and welcome to FiveWhoFans. I'm Billy, this is John, this is Dan, and today we're joined by Jaime. So today we are reviewing Demons of the Punjab. Let's just go around and see what everyone thinks. So, shall we start with you, Jaime? Since you're...
Okay. I really like that episode. Travelling into the past isn't really fun under Chibnall, is it? Really? And I mean that in like the best way. In that, you know, it's not, you know, in the past it's been light-hearted. A joke has been made out of racist things, if that makes sense. Whereas this is actually proper on the money, isn't it? It's like...
It presents you with the reality.
Yeah. And I think really, you know, 55 years of Doctor Who, and this is the first time it's really done that. So, you know, why is it taking this long to tell these stories now?
There wasn't any demons, there wasn't any horned fellas with little prongs, which was incredibly disappointing. John lied to me.
I warned you last week!
Well, I wouldn't say that was a warning. You got me excited, and no. You know, I enjoyed it. I think Rosa was a stronger historical episode.
Okay.
I think there was a bit of a weak middle. There was bits where I was like, I'm a little bit bored. I thought there was great bits of the opening. I think there was great bits with Graham again. Graham seems to be standing out. Another character who I thought maybe would focus on more, which we probably discuss later, maybe didn't get as much as I thought she would. Yes. I mean, it does very much seem like Ryan took the back step this episode. Ryan did definitely the least, but it seems like Graham and Yaz did about the same amount this episode, whereas it really should have lent towards Yaz. There was some nice beginning. The bits when she's with her nan at the beginning and the end are really nice, but I think that was a bit weak. And then the villains were fine. They looked great. Their thing, not so great. Their plot, what they do. Their reason was fine. It was fine, but a little like, did they need to be there?
My opinion is that it had some great drama, and it had some really interesting moments, but I feel like we ran into the classic "the monster isn't the bad guy" trope. But I like what they were doing, but there was still a lot of setup of them just being evil, or coming across evil, and I think that they were the weakest part of the episode as a result. Jodie had some great moments, and Bradley Walsh is the heart and soul of this team.
I agree.
Billy Treacy, your opinions?
Right, well, there was a severe lack of pitting in this story, and I'm fearful that for the rest of this...
Billy. You've got to talk about what your opinions are. Well, not your opinions. What they want to be your opinions, you've got to talk about. You can't talk about what you think.
I've not checked Twitter to know, so I don't...
No, but...
Think ahead. Tweeting to get the most amount of likes and retweets possible.
I just agree with you. I'm on board with your way of thinking, sir.
Just
or madam.
Scroll down through your timeline, and that's Billy's opinions.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm quite undecided. I need to watch it again. To the point where I wrote a couple of things down.
Okay.
It's not a poem. Just to remind me, so some things I was thinking about as I was watching it. So this was the episode that we were hoping, for me at least, was kind of Yaz's last chance to stand out as a well-defined character. So naturally, Graham was the best thing about this story. Yaz was let down a bit again. I think Mandip Gill is the reason that she's likable. I think she's.
Yes.
I said this last week as well. I think she's doing the best with what she's got. I enjoyed the historical aspect of this. I thought it was a really interesting thing to watch and learn about. I kind of feel like this episode could have been great without the alien element. Although the moment at the end, spoilers, when you have the face of the man who's just been killed,
Yes.
rising up to meet all of these other unwitnessed deaths, and it kind of hits home how many people were killed in these events.
Yeah.
I
think
that was kind of quite rewarding.
Mm.
So it almost justified it. I do feel though that the aliens were sort of a big part of the mystery, and then they were completely absent for a good 20 minutes, to the point where I was almost like, what was the point of them being there in the first place?
Yeah.
It looks really nice, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it looks really nice.
Jimmy Charles returns.
And that's one of the things that I was looking forward to about this episode. Just from the trailers, you knew it was going to look gorgeous.
Where was it filmed?
Don't know. Well, some of it was clearly in a forest in Wales.
Because of the rain.
Yeah. Because of the rain and the fact that looked like the same forest they filmed Jodie's reveal video in.
Ah, okay.
And also a lot of it, I would dare to say, was filmed in a studio in Wales.
Wow, okay. Some of the location shots did look...
But then the actual location footage of like the TARDIS landing location, beautiful vistas.
Yeah.
And the fields and everything. Beautiful.
There's a lot of Sonic, isn't there? There's a lot of Sonic screwdriver usage.
Yes.
And that's been throughout the series, it's not just this episode. But I'm starting to get a little bit... I don't mind a Sonic screwdriver, I just think it's getting a little overused, and I quite like Jodie's Doctor as a sort of inventor, tinkerer, and I quite like to see her make her own things beyond the Sonic that'll help her in any given situation. I mean, she had a welder mask on at the beginning.
Yeah,
what was she doing?
She was just playing with the TARDIS.
Cool.
And there was also a lovely moment where she pilots it and it was just really nice the way she interacts with the console. Is a much more tactile feel, better than just boop 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 boop. Anytime the TARDIS looks like a cold clinical grey place like it did in the classic series, it's boring and you're wrong for liking it.
I agree with whatever you're thinking.
Yeah, I don't want to be part of this video anymore. How dare you?
But yeah, it was emotional at times. But for the most part, I'm not sure what to make it. I think for the most part, it's just fine.
Yeah,
it's just okay. It's another just okay. It's just another not great episode. I think it could have been great.
It's a different flavour of episodes, definitely, to the rest of the series. So I feel like that's definitely Vinay.
Yeah.
Vinay Patel. His writing definitely.
Yeah, this is the first episode.
Yeah,
Shall we talk about that now? This is the first episode that we've without Chris Chibnall writing it. Did we notice?
Yeah. Sorry, Chibs, if you're watching this, but
in a good way or a bad way?
Yeah.
The dialogue felt more natural.
Okay.
It wasn't like Yaz would say a line, Ryan would say a line, then Graham would say a line. It had more of a natural flow to it.
Okay.
It felt less staged than previous episodes. Felt like I was watching theatre more than
I was
television.
This episode felt more theatrical.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Especially the moment before the wedding where the I've forgotten his name. That's terrible.
The husband to be.
The husband to be. The groom is talking to Graham. There was a moment where he was talking about fighting in the war.
Yeah.
And his brother and stuff, and that was really good. but the way he was talking, he was very much like facing towards camera, looking to the ground with Ryan and Graham over his shoulder.
Yeah.
And it was just a straight shot, and it felt this is very.
It felt like a Shakespearean
Yeah,
aside.
it felt like an aside, and that's why there was a few. It felt like there was a couple of moments like that throughout the episode. Not a bad necessarily though. It just felt more like oh, this is just different for Doctor Who again, which is the series down pat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, there is something I want to talk about. It's about the younger brother. He is someone who's being weaponized, not weaponized, but he's being. What's it called?
He fell for the propaganda, didn't
It's
he?
not. Oh, what's the term? I was thinking. It's like when he's being radicalized.
Radicalised, yeah.
And that actually mirrors some of the things that you can see online today with the alt-right and stuff. And it feels, and that felt like a very kind of
that thing about listening to angry
voices
men.
on the radio. That feels very prescient, and I thought that was quite neatly done.
Yeah.
And the fact that it leads to such a horrible place and destroys that family.
Much in the same way that we radicalise our fan base.
They were a great actor. I just want to point.
They were great.
Younger,
Yeah.
I think the one who's the groom was.
Do you think he was the weakest actor?
Okay. Something I noticed very much was that he wasn't. I never saw him blink. And
Dan doesn't trust him.
His emotion from he didn't show anything from like there.
Okay.
And he didn't when he was sort of sad or angry or whatever. It was just a constant. And I didn't really get what emotion he was supposed to be pulling at some points. I got because some of the things he was saying, the ways he was saying it was good, but his actual expressions were a little like just like
what do you
just
want?
seemed very
Like
still.
somebody
No,
to
just
me
seemed-
or not to me?
No, but it just they
Partition
just seemed
before me.
still. They just was like this, and it just like.
You wanted them to blink.
No, I just wanted them to pull a f***ing expression. They were just not pulling an expression. I'm sorry, that's all I'm saying is they weren't there. If you look at that, was nothing. It was one face.
So you think that some of the performances were a little bit stilted?
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So sometimes there were certain line styles I couldn't pick out one particular actor, but there was just moments when I thought that's a bit off.
Yeah, there felt like a couple of strange deliveries throughout.
But
Also, it was very, very hard until they revealed that they were actually nice now to understand what the aliens were talking about half the time.
Yeah.
Really hard, and I think that was on purpose because they talk via psychic thing, and so the Doctor feels like a psychic attack every time they talk. Until they stop doing that, and at which point they start having sing-song and men and women voices, and it's no longer just it's just
They were very fan filmy.
They were a bit.
Like the hand movements, it's
that thing of,
time
like,
and space.
it's because they're telepathic as well, so you're not seeing any mouths move. It's just
You have to
masks
show,
and arm
I mean,
gestures.
one thing I didn't like was the fact they had like 20 eyes and not one of those eyes blinked.
No, they
I couldn't. The emotion from there was awful.
I did like though we did actually have proper aliens.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Or like
alien-
physical
aliens. Like it wasn't just a humanoid alien. It was someone
Then it's
with
a bit-
20 eyes and big teeth
Tusk things
that can't actually talk. But it felt that felt like Doctor Who.
And they had a backstory as well.
They had a
which was
back,
quite
yeah.
nice.
I quite liked the realization, but this feels like a different episode idea, kind of on top of this, which is the idea of this species that was they evolved themselves to be snipers and assassins, and then their planet gets attacked and wiped out because of that. And then, as a result, the last two of their kind are like, oh, we've got to keep the planet. What's left of the planet's gases in this pot, and it's like this is just what's left of their homeworld. I really like that.
Yeah, it's a nice.
That was nice. There was really neat bits. There was something Hitchhiker's-esque about that as well.
It's another one of those. Let's talk about what we're doing and do like for 5-10 minutes. Just like I said, if it was a completely different episode that was going on with them, it just felt a little bit like this is just a thing about them, which isn't really connected to anything else.
It's just a nice. Maybe it's a setup for later on. Maybe
it was flipping Mr. Teeth, wasn't it? Mr. Teeth planet killed that other
The
planet.
Stenza.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Well, no. I was going to say that maybe later on a character will die alone, and they'll show up to take
To take Graham away.
Okay, so
When
really
Graham
this
dies.
series seems to be world building, doesn't it?
There's very much a lot of world building and universe building.
Yeah, they are kind of like vultures. They are an omen of death, essentially.
Yes.
So and it was when you see them appear at the end of the episode, it's that moment of, oh.
There was a moment here.
I think they could be really effective if you used them more like that, if they ever appeared later.
This should have been about Yaz.
This should
There
have
should
been
have been more close-up shots of Yaz throughout the entire.
And more
thing.
just more time
Stuff
with her.
yeah.
Like when the Doctor when the Doctor Ryan and the groom go into the forest, Yaz stays at home and barely says anything. You don't
Yeah, I was thinking we'd cut between that and some interesting stuff happening with her, but then
her and
I
her
can't really remember anything that gets said, to be honest.
This is quite a frustrating episode in those regards.
Yeah.
Um,
Very nearly, very good. More time with Yaz.
more time would have been nice.
Maybe just get rid of the aliens.
Yeah, that might have been stronger.
Make it a pure historical, because those were the most interesting aspects of it.
Definitely, and the whole partition of India and
Yeah, I
That's-
learned a lot watching that, to be honest.
yeah, I now want to go like with Rosa. I now want to go and research that event and find out more and learn more about my infuriating ignorance of these things.
Because we're not taught this in school.
no,
are
this
we?
is
I feel
not-
like we should be.
We really
We're part of it.
It's
No,
our
school is Romans, Tudors,
World War II.
And
World War II.
any
World
other
War
war where the British or our ancestors win.
Yes,
Yeah.
pretty
I'm
much.
just very frustrated we never learned about dinosaurs in history, but...
we did that in science.
Did you? You know about dinosaurs?
We learn about God.
No, that's RE.
In science. Chemistry. Biology.
Yeah.
It's all God.
Physics.
God made the book, and
That's why they call it the God particle.
I liked the moment where the Doctor's built this contraption to kind of understand the chemical.
I love that.
And,
Yeah.
and when Yaz says, "What is it?" she goes, "Science."
Yeah. So seeing more small stuff like that from the Doctor is nice.
Yeah.
There was also the moment when they first get teleported to that ship. That, by the way, the teleport effect is just the apparition effect from Harry Potter.
Oh, where they go with that? Yeah.
There's a great moment where the Doctor gets angry with the species and is talking about protecting
The
them.
lighting was
And the
great.
lighting's
Dark
great.
in the face, didn't it?
And the music kicks in, and it's like, oh, here we go. Could have, but the episode kind of rushes through that moment, and it's like, we just need a bit more of it, and also to follow through with
The
that.
bits where it needed to slow down, it sped through. And
Yeah.
the bits where you think, come on,
It
fasten
slowed
the
down.
pace a bit, it slowed down. Yeah.
But again, you had the night before the wedding, and like, there's great moments with the Doctor at the hen party.
Yeah,
uh,
that was amazing.
Some
That was-
great
Jodie
dialogue.
was absolutely amazing.
Knocking it out of the park there,
Yeah.
and you felt that kind of, any comments about gender and sexual regeneration, orientation, all jokes from me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The comedian.
And then that also flipped again, but back to the stag do, and it was really interesting having the two brothers with Ryan and Graham being witness to this very uncomfortable family tiff.
I like the fact that they played a bit part in that scene as well.
They were very much
Yeah.
observing and felt like they shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
They're so good together.
Yeah, they
Graham,
are, aren't
Graham
they?
and Ryan, whenever they have scenes together, they're incredible. They're a great double act. You were saying that earlier, weren't you, Jamie?
Yeah. When it was allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
There was also the moment with Graham and Yaz, which Graham steals that scene.
Yeah,
Because-
because should have been on Yaz. The focus should have been on Yaz.
But the thing is, although I do really like the dialogue that Graham has there. Graham has amazing moments, right?
That's a great scene because it was Graham talking about being a grandparent.
Yeah. And I
So,
thought
yeah.
that was really touching and also really sweet, talking about how a really nice perspective on life.
Yeah. And acknowledging that grandparents aren't always your grandparents.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to talk about is the fact throughout the whole cast, only 2 were white, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, which was quite
yeah.
nice to
Yeah.
see actually. And you don't notice it at all.
No.
I mean, the only time there's been less white people would have been when it was just Peter Capaldi by himself.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't really count, does it? Really?
Yeah. But that was also a 100% white cast.
Racists, racist.
Mixed thoughts on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The music was great, and the music also went into the end credits, which is fine, by the way, when Doctor Who does it.
Oh no, there's going to be a riot on YouTube now.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have lots of honest comments about that.
But I don't think people will notice because
here's-
how long it took for.
I think
People
people will
noticed
notice
it out,
this.
didn't
Well, me and Billy looked at each
Yeah,
other at
yeah.
the same time.
So
Me and John were like, what? I don't get it, what's going on? It's the song, I don't get it. And then you're like, no, it's a Doctor Who theme. I was like, oh, okay. And then it ended before I could clock on. So I have to go home and listen to
we'll
it.
put that on again.
Yeah.
I don't have qualms about having different music over the credits. I do, and this has nothing to do with the episode itself, but I do feel that it kind of makes the next time trailer a bit strange.
Yeah,
Like,
when
it
you've
doesn't quite sell it.
If you've got such kind of like evocative music playing that very much ties in to the episode that you just witnessed, when you then cut to
A warehouse.
with a fantastic looking robot delivery man, oh my god, Dan nearly flew off the seat with excitement. Then yeah, suddenly to have that music in the background of that, it's like, okay, that's a bit of a. It's like at the end of Rosa.
Yeah, not
Rosa-
quite. I was going to say
Yeah.
not quite as jarring as Chris
Yeah.
North going.
Yeah.
But still
Yeah.
pretty kind of throws you a little bit.
Yeah. Agenda Watch.
Oh yeah.
I honestly cannot see one in this one.
They,
The British did horrible things,
Just
And
like
it's-
they actually did.
and it's like the truth.
But I don't think they like focused on that
No, they don't,
aspect of
no.
it. They didn't. They're not villainising anyone in particular.
No, and I thought that was
And they were well within their rights to.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more looking at the way that the situation kind of affects people and changes communities. People that you know are coming for you.
It's very that I think that's where the episode was most powerful.
Yeah.
Like there was the dialogue, line of dialogue in there as well about it's always scary when sane people go mad or something.
Yeah.
It's like when normal people go mad. And the horror of your friends, your neighbours, and your colleagues turning on you because of someone else saying, "Oh, there's a line in the sand here." And
Yeah.
so I think that was nicely done, and that's where things like the wedding worked really well, is because then they used that petition that the brother put down.
So the Hindu wedding.
To do the
tradition
wedding tradition
with that rope.
Yeah.
Bonding them. Yeah.
I
that
thought that was a lovely little touch. So
Yeah.
Marks out of 10 and final thoughts. Who wants to start?
You can start, Dan, if you want.
Dan!
You start.
Right, okay. I think it's an episode I think I need to watch again, but it's not one I'm necessarily really looking forward to watching again, unlike ones I have in other episodes in this series. I think the villain was a little weak. I think there was some nice, in terms of the historical elements of it.
Do you mean the aliens?
The aliens, sorry.
Rather than villain.
Oh, sorry, yes, not villains. The aliens themselves, who are villains. But the historical elements themselves are good. I think Graham again steals the show where it should have been Yaz who steals the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not what I'm like, I can't wait to watch that episode again like I have maybe the last one. So I think I'll probably give it a 5.
It wasn't perfect.
Which
But-
episode is?
Exactly. And well, Twin Dilemma. That's amazing. You'll never beat it. But I think that I enjoyed this one a lot more than the previous 2 weeks. I didn't like the spider episode, particularly.
That was the weakest one this series.
Yeah, and then last week's I didn't enjoy on first viewing. The second time I preferred it a lot more, but the last 2 weeks for me I felt a bit weak. I think Chibnall with sci-fi, when he does future sci-fi, because he's having to explain what's going on every single step, I think the story itself fall short of what he's trying to do.
Okay.
Whereas when it goes into the past, I think this is almost up there with Rosa, but not quite. Graham, like you said, had more to do, which is great, but really we should be talking about Yaz a lot more. And because we're not, I think that's where the story's failed. Locations, special effects, all that was great. So for me, it's my second favourite of the series so far. I'd give it an 8.5.
Wow.
Wow, we're using decimal points.
Decimal points.
This man takes his ratings very seriously. Mr. Gransden.
The man takes his ratings very seriously.
What bottle is that?
Which number?
This is my second one.
The scary thing is that's the alcohol-free for me.
I was talking to someone this week and I realised that Yaz is the first companion of all of New who doesn't come from a broken home. Her parents are still together and in love. She hasn't got like anything like that, and she just has a sister who drives her crazy, and her dad's a bit intense with his conspiracy theories
And his shopping bags.
and his shopping bags. Yeah. And so she's pretty much got a fairly decent life, and she seems like the person with the most kind of like, oh, I want to go away because I like space. And it's like, okay. And so, yeah, it's quite interesting when you think about that she is. And as a result, this episode was always going to need to be something that really kind of threw her family tree into disarray, which it kind of does, but it doesn't tackle it.
No.
And it just kind of, I mean, it's fascinating and really interesting human drama in this episode. But at the same time, there was bits that just didn't click and it didn't quite achieve what it was aiming for. So for me, I think it's a 6 out of 10. I'm going to have to rewatch it again. And I'm going to do a lot of research into this. But how about you, Billy Tracy? What was your rating?
Well, let's just see. Right, so emojis this week, because apparently that's a thing now.
He's that drunk, he's had to pre-record what he's going to say and play on his phone.
I'll just go like this and like I'll dub it.
Yeah. I really liked it, I thought it was amazing, really good.
Neutral face, expressionless face, and face without mouth.
And what's that in numerical value?
I thought this episode, it was just fine again. It's another just fine episode. I don't have much to say about it. I could do with watching it again, but I'm in no hurry to. I'm very sad that Yaz didn't stand out in the way that she should have. I think with other episodes, when they're acting as a unit, it's not as noticeable. But when Yaz's family are at the forefront of this, it's very clear that she's not as strong as the rest of the cast. Also, Bradley Walsh continues to be the best thing that's happened to me this year. So, out of 10, I would give that a 6. Yeah, 5 or 6.
Yeah. For me, this is the first episode that's the most frustrating.
Oh yeah. Because it could have been.
Whereas like.
And that's weird because I really like this one. Well, that's a series, isn't it?
Do you know what that is? That is the beauty of everyone having different opinions.
Do they?
No. To summarise, I agree with you.
Yeah. What you thought of the episode was right, and we all agree with you. Not the person above you or the person below. In the comments thread, it's just you.
Yeah.
Jamie, where can people find you?
In my house?
No, as in on the internet.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay.
You got to plug yourself.
Really?
Yeah.
Plug.
YouTube.com/Carroll13. If you want to watch. If you like.
Actually, no, don't do that.
John just remembered there's videos of him on there that he doesn't want the public to see.
If you like 1980s Doctor Who, by that I mean zero budget, wobbly sets and
Wobbly acting.
questioning acting and dialogue, then you'll love my channel.
Thank you for watching. So we'll see you next week for
Robot.
That's not what it's called!
Robot Mailman episode.
It's
Enjoy it. It'll be good. It will be good.
Hey, if it's anything as good as Postman Pat the movie, then we know we're in for a treat.
Oh.